including Huilu Sijie. We were there 5 times in Katrina, and it was in the morning, it was cold and freezing weather, so everybody came out and I was trying to introduce Tzu Chi. And this is at the Houston Astrodome. You can see Sister Huilu was comforting one of the refugees. And this is our Da-ai bus. It's a dental van that we had. It was commissioned in New York, and then we drove 3.5 days now to Katrina, New Orleans, to help out. Again, this, of all the different missions, this is the one that really touched my heart. This is Haiti, 2009. Okay. 8.5 Richter scale. That shattered the whole of Haiti. As you know, Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the world. They have been getting aid from United States for the longest period of time. I was lucky enough to be the first one to go to the assessment team before the formal team went. And I was lucky enough, historically, to go on to the UN plan. That was when Tzu Chi became an NGO. So we are the official representative. I was able to go onto the plane and fly from Santo Domingo to Port-au-Prince. And as you can see on the lower left corner, there was riot, there was fire, because when people cannot get food, they burned, they go onto the streets, they protest. So the cardinal rule of Tzu Chi, charity or medical foundation or anything is master, always the safety is the most important thing. So we have the peacekeeping UN from Brazil that escorted us with the tank, with the rail gun in front and the back of the caravan. This is how we do the function. And you can see, again, these are 10 cities. They are considered pretty well-to-do to have a cupboard to have their home. And the lady on the lower left-hand corner, she was pregnant, and unfortunately she had an abortion. So she survived, but the baby did not. As you can know, in Haiti, or I can tell you in the rest of the East African country, the HIV is very prevalent. So is Haiti. So a lot of baby borns are born with HIV positive. And this is something that that intrigued me, that I would like to get involved more in WHO through UN to see how we can promote family planning and to give them public education. This is how Port-au-Prince looks like. Haitians are very clean in their own home. They will throw the bottles, the garbages outside their house. Of course, after the earthquake, there was no garbage disposal. This you can see. The odor is like we have to wear a double mask when we walk onto the, of course, this happens right immediately after the earthquake. There's tens of doctors, me and Dr. Shirley Chen from California. We were the first few dentists there. And 3/4 of the Haitians, they are illiterate because they are so poor, they don't have money to go to school, they don't have money to buy pencils or books, so they don't even can read. So we have to show them specific how to get the prescription on Sunday, daylight, and this is how they can read. Look at the little baby on the right-hand side. When the earthquake, the roof fell, and the 5-year-old baby has to have her arm amputated. So Deborah Sugu and I, we will go in there, and because of the medical situation, the wound got disinfected, and we have to change the dressing for the poor baby. And look at this one. This really impressed me a lot. She was wearing a Chanel. You know what is a Chanel? It's a plastic garbage bag that she put over her top, and it's a clear plastic bag that she put underneath it. As we were going past, and I said, this looks like a really nice Chanel piece. And the one on the right-hand side, the bottom left, we were lucky enough to stay in OECC's, Overseas Engineering Chinese Cooperation from Taiwan. So we have a room to stay, we have some food to eat, but as you can see, the people, they just get desperate and they kept pushing. So we have to have the Peace Corps to kind of a thing. So, and a month later, there was a National Mourning Day where all the Haitians, they say prayers to their missed one. So these are actually music, but I don't have the time to play. So Cries of Sorrow. And so we came out with cash for labor, meaning that you come and clean your backyard, we pay you money, And the money Tzu Chi pay, which is really the gracefulness of Master, that we pay you double, triple of what you make in the day, so that you have chance to not only take care of stuff, you have chance to survive. So this is called cash for labor. And of course, dentistry is in disarray. And you can see the one on the left-hand side. The day I left, there was a big girl. There's a young girl, about 8 years old, with a face up to here. I suspect it could be amyloblastoma, meaning it's a very little type of cancer. I refer her to the hospital, but unfortunately I touched base. I hope to this day she will still survive. I do think of her and miss her all the time. This is a very touching video by the reporter from Taiwan. I didn't have the time to play, but okay. Take you to Philippines, high-end. Philippine high-ends also, because of climate change, the world has become different. There's more and more cyclone, there are more hurricane. So when high-end hit Philippines, the whole city of Tacloban, where President Imelda, she was born there. Actually, they want to abandon the whole village. Because of Tzu Chi, we went in there, we saved the village. So we did the eye surgery. This is in front of the stadium. They are like, before, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, they start lining up at 4 o'clock in the morning. We have, look at this young little kid. Isn't he cute? You know what happened? Medically, he has deformed rectum, meaning he was born without rectum. He cannot excrete. So what happened is his big intestine, large intestine, make a little fistula on the stomach there. So the mother came into dentistry, and we smell like really bad, sort of like 10 miles away. So we found out that the baby has this so-called deformed rectum. I'll show you a few cases. This happens a lot in the Syrian refugee camp. And interesting enough, talking about recycling, Manila, they were able to get all these 7-Up bottles. The one little one, they pack them together. These are actually a boat that can float during the hurricane. And this is Dr. Deng from Singapore. This is how Tzu Chi Tima, how we treat our patients. The doctor knew on his knees to take care of the patients. You don't see that in anywhere else other than Tzu Chi. And this is how we do the extraction. Of course, Tzu Chi 53 years ago, I was back to Tzu Chi to play. And okay, Mexico. Again, big earthquake in Mexico. Our Stephen Wang was able to teach a group of volunteers to go there before the AIDS came. For 3 months, they trained the local volunteers. When we were there, finally, we were able to do a lot of work. Hotutla, Tegucigalpa, and this is where we have a lot of local volunteers, and of course, Dr. Anna, who is a dentist in Mexico. She was so touched, so we make her the person in charge of the, okay. This is Jordan. I just came back from Jordan for the 3rd time a week ago, and this is 2016, Christmas in Jordan. As you know, when Civil War broke out, Jordan is south of Syria. They were like undocumented, about 4 million refugees that crossed the border into Jordan. And Jordan is the only Middle East country that do not produce oil, so they get benefit from other countries like Iraq and Afghanistan. And this is where they would live in there. Actually, these are Bedouin. You know what's Bedouin? Bedouin are weather refugees. They used to be nomads, just like the gypsies. They go from place to place, and they have a livestock, camels, cows, and things. They survive on where the animal livestock can find glasses because of climate change. So it became desert. So they became weather refugees themselves. This is their only makeshift toilet in the whole area of about 2 acres. This young man, he was wearing a leather jacket. He was squatting there. He was shaking, and apparently he was trying to get a smoke in his, he couldn't get in there. So I asked the local volunteers, where is he from? They said they don't know. He just kind of drifted from one Bedouin camp to the other camp. They don't know where he's from, they don't know where he's going. So you see a lot in the Bedouin camp. And you see the women, basically they are all women. You know why? The men, as they run from Syria to Jordan, they abandon the family because psychologically, financially, they can bear it. So most of the women, single mothers with 5, 6 children, all underage, and they put on the best suit to welcome us. And as you remember, and the picture of Master trying to push the bus 50 years ago when Master started the humble beginning in Hualien, we had the same thing happen. Our bus got stuck in the mud. This is what I saw in the school, under the refugee school. Mother, father, where are you? And this is the orphan. He lost his parents, his brothers, his sisters on the way, so he became the only orphanage, end up in Jordan. And we have an afternoon school that we house all the students and give them education. And this is the New Year's thing, New Year's celebration. This is Azaraf, the world's second largest refugee camp. You see all this barbed wire? Because there are like 7 different zones in the areas about 200 acres. There are about over 350,000 refugees, mostly Syrian refugees, some Iraqis. But this zone 6 are the new immigrants. They suspect they are ISIS, so they are kind of a fence up in that area. They are not allowed to leave that area. That's zone 6. This is zone 3 or zone 5. You can see a lot of single women. Okay. When the war broke out, the family got abandoned by the father. So all these young teenage girls, when they end up in Jordan, a lot of this very rich oil country, they came to Jordan. They offered the mother $10,000 and buy these young girls, bring them back, just like what happened to Jeff Epstein, if you follow news in New York Times. The children got abused, got misused, and got discarded. So the Jordan government set up a rule that no more importing of these young brides to other countries, which is a good thing. You can see thousands of people waiting in the zone 5 where we're doing the mission. This picture touched my heart. You know why? Because as a Muslim woman, because of their religion background, they are not even supposed to, actually they have the veil that cover their face. When I was treating this young girl, the mother was watching. So at the end of the mission treatment, I want to hug the little girl. And didn't I know, next minute I know the mother came in and hugged me. And this is very touching. And to have a Muslim woman hugging a New Yorker, and that's something that touches my heart. And of course, we had the privilege to meet Prince Hassan. Prince Hassan was supposed to be the next of throne because of the revolution, so he did not become king. And Chen Qiuhua, who is our CEO of Jordan, and he was there 40 years ago as a private bodyguard to Prince Hassan. So we met him, and he is a very wise man. He was educated in Oxford, and he speaks with a very good accent. This is something that I wrote in English, but what he says is, in this troubled world, we have to be diligent, and we cannot use our own idea to judge the world, and we have to. And when I came back, I wrote this short message. I said that this is really a soul-searching, really awakening and emotional mission. Of all the missions I've been, this completely defines what really great tragedy is, and human dignity lost. Because Chua told me when they lost their life, they lost their dignity, they lost their self-respect. And when we went to the Azara camp, we brought the hard-boiled egg to the little boy. When they saw this, they throw away. You know why? They think these are hand grenades. These are children that were born. They haven't known there's a chicken. They don't know the chicken lay eggs. So they throw away the eggs. So Prince Hassan said, we have to give them aids, we give them medical care, but most important thing, we have to regain their self-consciousness, regain their dignity, and give them life, give them love. So this is what we wake up to. This is my second trip back to Jordan last year, same thing. And Hola School is the school that we have. We provide education to the single mothers. We bus them to the school and give them education. So there was this is the 慈心之家. It's a building that Tzu Chi rented. There are 50 units in that building. Single mothers, mothers that got raped, and a lot of tragic stories. And we go there on a regular basis, give them rice, give them oil, give them rations, give them education. Look at this. This is Tarba Community Center. This was set up by Prince Hussein. Look at the fine prints there. This is a free place. We give you free services. You don't have to give anything in return, not even sex, because in that places many things happen. People will do anything to get a food on their table. They will sell themselves, they will sell their children, they will sell anything else just to exchange for food in their meal. I have to tell this story. Heba was 14 years old 3 years ago. Her mother, Fasia, you can see in the middle there, and they were considered very well-to-do in Syria. When the bomb came, the roof collapsed, and the roof hit her brother, who is on the bed there. Her left leg was completely crushed and fractured. So she went through 30 doctors. She spent over $200,000 US. And every doctor said the legs need to be amputated. Until they found Brother Chiu Hua, we took them to the hospital, we saved her leg. Heba, on the other hand, she has to escape from Syria to Jordan. What turned out to be a 200 miles ordeal, kilometers, it became a 2-week ordeal because they closed the border and they had to pay a lot of money. They were called Rense or snake, the professional smugglers. That she was one of the few 6 people that survived. The other 5 girls, they got raped by the smuggling ring, they got killed, and finally she was able to end up in Masara camp, and she met her mother. This is a very tragic story. Again, you can see that in the YouTube here. This is the story. Her mother makes olive hand soap, and this time I was able to buy some soap to help out her brother. And of course, we met with the dean of Jordan University, trying to have an MOU, trying to have the local doctors to get involved. So Prince Hassan wisdom is that we got to fill the heart with love and compassion. So what is the future there, and what can they do? So this is a big story. I want to end up with in Mozambique. Hurricane cyclone Idai just wiped out the whole of East Africa. Mozambique was one of the hardest hit part. Beira, which is the second largest city, was 10 feet underwater. So there were thousands of lives lost. And we were there. I was lucky enough to join them. You can see this is in the tent. The baby has nothing to play, and there was just, look at this man here. Look at his right toes. He has diabetes, he has hepatitis, he has cholesterol. As we were walking around on the sand, we see blood on the floor. And of course, our doctors, plastic surgeons, saw right away, and his legs had to be amputated. But we were trying to refer him to the hospital. These are the fish that they got, but thousands of millions of flies. This is their food in there. So I want to jump to the conclusion. This is U-Bike. So they have Uber, and we have to, this is the school. This is a village called Lamango. On the left-hand side, this is the highway that divides the village into right and left. The left has a school. So before that, the kids on the right had to cross the highway to go to the school on the left. You know what happened? 15 children were killed last year because people in Mozambique, there's no stop sign. They just drive straight through. So Tzu Chi Foundation, through Dennis and Dino and Masters Grazing, we want to build a school. This is on the left. And you see people laying on the floor. I don't know whether she's dead or she's alive, or it's too hot, she was sleeping there. And of course, we do a lot of teaching to the local dentist. Again, the same case where there's a big swelling, and 1 seed to infinity, 一生无量，无量一生. So this is the plant that we found in Tzu Chi. And This is the picture that I saw on the wall in Jordan. And hopefully we have peace. We pray for peace. We make peace. How do we make peace and love? If we can try to eliminate our differences, we work hand in hand, and this will be peace together. So the phases that all these 25 years that brought me to this. So I hope there's still time for Q&A. Thank you very much for giving me the 30 minutes of time to walk you through half a century of medical mission. 感恩.
Okay, so you guys remember Dr. Liao from yesterday, right? Our first class. So he promised us that he would give us some Tzu toothbrushes. So he was not kidding. It's on your table, some Tzu toothbrushes. And let's welcome Dr. Liao back to teach us how to use these.
Good afternoon, Yao. That's what they say in the West. My chairman, Dr. Langley. I hope yesterday I did not overwhelm you with my feedback. Is I talk too fast. I touch upon too many things because it was 25 years of my own journey towards in Tzu Chi, especially with Master, as Sister Debbie said, life after life after life after life, just like the everlasting battery. I'd like to thank you for giving me a few minutes. The Tzu Chi toothbrush that I mentioned yesterday, the oral hygiene education, we call OHI. So if you have the opportunity in the future to join Tzu Chi in any outreaches, any of the dental things, when we say OHI, you know what it means. So on table, you each have a gift from me, actually from Hui Lu and Xu Zhong and New York chapters, a very fine toothbrush. Just take a look. It's called Tzu Chi toothbrush with the imprint on it. So this is a very special gift, and I need to tell you how Tzu Chi toothbrushes is, brushing technique. Because if you don't listen to me very carefully for the next 3 minutes, you're gonna ruin the toothbrush before you walk out from this room. If you look at the bottom, which they shouldn't print, it's called 0.004. That means millimeters. This is how soft and how, like Tzu Chi, Master said, you walk the path, 你脚它才不会伤到大地. If you brush too hard, you're gonna hurt your teeth, your gum, and the earth. So before you use, you can open up the plastic covering. It's perfectly hygienic because it's sealed properly. Normally, I don't care which dental school you go to or which dentist you go to. Yeah, save it for me, okay? Recycle. The dental hygienist or your dentist will ask you to brush like this. The Tzu Chi, I can't say this is wrong, but the Tzu Chi method is 叫做顶天立地. You hold your toothbrush with just barely 3 fingers, not like this. You don't have to grab it, very gently. It's called massaging because I did not get time to explain to you. There are 2 main dental problems. One is gingivitis, which leads to periodontal diseases, which leads to 齿牙动摇, as a lot of teeth stop moving. The other major thing is, of course, dental caries. That's why no sugar, no lollipop in any of the dental outreach. So holding 3 fingers, you can do that. Just remember, mindful, 50% of that bristle has to be on the gum. The 50% of the bristle has to be on your teeth. So if you go in there, it has to be vertical. Of course, it's difficult if you go towards the back. So just like this. Very gently, it's massaging from all the way the last tooth back to the other side. That takes about maybe a minute to a minute and a half. And then you go brush again, maintaining 50% of the bristle on the gum and on the tooth. You go 10 times. Okay? Likewise on the inside. It's a little awkward if you do it from the back. Massaging technique. Likewise on the bottom and the top. After you finish this use, put it in a little warm water before you break it in. And then each time after you finish brushing, put it like a warm water. Just wash it under the tap. You can use this. This will last at least 6 to 9 months until you invite me back to the retreat again. I'll give you another big toothbrush. But honestly, I keep at least 2 to 3 toothbrushes. So the first toothbrush is free. The second toothbrush will cost you US $2. The reason why I say that because it's very difficult to, it's very costly, let's put it that way, to get it at cost. So whatever profit margin, which is very fringe, we will use that for East Africa fundraising. So I would suggest strongly, it's not a hard sale here. You don't have to get 2. But if you need to get another one for your significant others, from your family, but before you do that, please teach them how to brush your teeth, okay? So let's give 1 minute, do it yourself and see how you feel. You go from the back. Toothbrush, okay, my time is up. So we have more toothbrushes here, okay? Hopefully the next retreat you invite me back, I'll give you more touching stories about my next endeavor. But thank you very much, Kang En.